Okay, everybody, let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Both feet flat on the floor if you are sitting at your desk, and about a hip's width apart. Shoulders aligned with the hips, ears aligned with the shoulders, and imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So imagine lengthening your spine, putting some space in between the vertebrae. And just go to the crown of the head and relax your scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the back of the tongue. Relax the jaw, the ears, the inner ears, the temples, the back of the head, and the neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And be aware of the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. And so we don't notice we don't notice the breath unless we're walking uphill or running or exercising in some way. Or if we're having a hard time breathing. We'll just now pay attention to the sensations around the nostril, the temperature of the air, sensations of the breath around your thoracic region and your belly. And then be aware of any sounds in your environment, trying not to follow the sounds with the mind. Just allow those sounds to be there. As soon as we hear something, the mind tends to just sort of travel off to see what's going on. Just allow the sounds to be there. So for example, our neighbor's dog is barking. So of course, immediately I'm wondering what's going on. And then bring to mind, just sort of notice what's going on in your mind. So it's a pretty busy time of year right now. There's a number of you here who are probably preparing food, shopping, taking care of guests, family. So it's kind of like for some people, it's a very exciting time. For other people, it's disturbing. So however it is for you, try and put some space in between the thoughts and allow the thoughts to kind of calm down a little. And just know that however you're turning up tonight, it's all fine. And be aware of the need for you to take care of yourself this particular time of year. And just give yourself permission to take care of yourself. If you need to spend Christmas curled up in bed with a book, then that's it. That's what you're doing. Or if you need to spend Christmas serving, people in the homeless shelter, that's your Christmas. Maybe you want to go for a walk by yourself. Maybe you want to hang out with family or friends. And give yourself permission to have Christmas that you want, to have the holiday that you want without feeling obligated in some way. And then bring to mind all the people of your life. So your loved ones, you may be, meeting up with a number of them this next couple of days. Then there's ones you don't like very much. You may also be meeting up with them. And then there's our strangers. And I always think of our people in the cars as I'm on the freeway. Each person with their own individual story. And all these people are equal in that they, just like you and me, they just want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves may experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance, and we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion, for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those people who've harmed you, and particularly for these people, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, Sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe, Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body. Except this time it forces up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite this mantra again. But before we do, think about, some of you already may have been attending different parties, like pre-Christmas work parties, work events, family events, trying to get everybody in, on this Christmas period. Maybe some of you are celebrating Hanukkah and also Lama Tsongkhapa Day is coming on Wednesday. So I mean, there's a sort of a lot of events maybe happening right now. And then there's always this temptation to kind of fall into just chatting about nothing in particular. And there's sort of this way of chatting that it's kind of seems harmless, but in terms of the Lamrim, if you're just kind of chatting because you're either showing off or you're just kind of trying to be, it's the motivation that's important. So maybe, I heard Venerable Rabina say, it's Christmas, just be nice. Check your speech before something falls out of your mouth, particularly if you're having a glass of wine or something, because it sort of tends to loosen our editor, our internal editor. So we'll recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pi Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ah hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And that does include yourself, because you will hear it. And next is this purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So, you imagine you walk into a room and it's dark and you just flick on the switch and the light comes immediately. So imagine, same here, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all of the attachment and neediness and anger and depression, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, grudges, and covetousness. I bring that in because this is this time of year where everyone is out shopping. And it's almost we're encouraged by the marketplace to covet everything, to feel that we need everything. And then, worse, we want what our neighbors got. It's super uncomfortable. So all this kind of purifies all of this, all this mental activity. Let's recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipukaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipukaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering, the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is this purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends a light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Manupalaya Vajrasattva Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Manupalaya Vajrasattva Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and the final step in this purification process. And here we just have to decide, I want to refrain from harming. And it becomes like a beacon that guides your body and your speech and your mind in new directions. So first of all, rejoice in your efforts for coming along here tonight. For Shrey, it's 6 a.m. For Jay, it's the middle of the day. For Kimberly, for example, and there's a number of you here on the East Coast. So it's really late there. It's 11:30. And all of us in between somewhere. So whatever time of day it is, you've put the effort to come here, you've put that time aside. And so just rejoice in that. And then think of something you'd like to work on. Maybe for all of us, we just keep our mind and our speech and our body intact over the next 48 hours. And enjoy. Be festive. Enjoy everybody's company. Enjoy everybody's. It's a time where everyone's quite relaxed sometimes because they've got time off work. But just enjoy. Try and enjoy. And then if you can't, then that's totally okay. Just accept where you are. Accept where you're at. And don't feel there should be anything else. Okay. Let's just dedicate. Imagine Vajrasattva's delighted, wants to merge with your mind and melts into light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So Rinpoche would recommend to meditate a little bit on emptiness. So even if you only understand that word, emptiness, if that's all you understand, we think in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So whatever level you understand that word emptiness, just place your mind there for a moment and think, all phenomena are empty. They don't exist from their own side. The way things appear to me may not be the way they exist. We don't understand everything. So maybe it's not always the way we think it is. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's do sorry, I was blabbering in the teaching, so in the practice. So now we're running a tad late. Anyway, let's do 3 verses here. Beyond defeat, unmanifest, unmatched, not making manifest, appearance free, pervasive, timeless, fully omnipresent, minute beyond defilements, seed free, unstained, devoid of passion, passionless, controlling humors, free from every illness, by nature most awakened, fully awake, omniscient, knowing everything, supreme, beyond reality as consciousness, pristine awareness, bearing non-dual form, beyond conceptualization, effort-free, acting as Buddhas do in every age. Okay, everybody. Lots of love. So we will be doing the Vajrasattva practice on Wednesday. So if you want to join, please come along. And we're also doing our puja at 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain, and 7 p.m. East Coast time. So please come along and join if you want. It's like a Lama Tsongkhapa day, so it's a special day. All right, everybody, lots of love. Good night. And does anyone have anything they'd like to do tomorrow morning?